Hello friends, and welcome to the weekly moon update. In these videos, we talk about the moon energy for the current week. In this video's case, we are talking about the very last week of April and the first week of May. So April 27th through May 3rd. This week is a little bit less chaotic than the last few weeks have been, thank goodness. I think that since the sun has moved into Taurus and since slowly the other planets are moving into Taurus, we are getting that stability again, getting that foundation again, whereas Aries is just like, yes, it's a fire sign, but it's all up in the air. It's like we're just burning through things so quickly and moving so quickly that you kind of forget to put your feet on the ground. So that's what's so significant about Taurus coming in after all of this Aries energy to help re-ground us again. So while we still do have like a big astrological shift happening this week, like that Taurus energy is in the background, kind of giving us a little bit of a container and stability to transmute and process these things. So we've got a lot to talk about this week. Let's jump into it. I forgot to mention that we also have a full moon this week. So all of this big energy, the astrological shifts and the full moon is happening on Friday. So this whole week is kind of leading up to this energy and also kind of feels like a recovery from last week. So we're starting off with a waxing gibbous moon on Monday, which will carry us into the full moon energy on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday will be our waning gibbous moons. So it does feel like there is going to be this building. And remember, Scorpio full moons tend to feel a little bit more intense. I always feel like the fire moons are the biggest and brightest and like the most loud in an energetic way. But Scorpio, even though it's a water sign, also kind of feels like it's just this big, like a bubble popping, like a bubble bursting with Scorpio energy, because it's Scorpio unearths the underside of things. It unearths the darkness. It unearths what's beneath the surface. So when we have a full moon and we're illuminating something, it tends to just like reveal truths. It reveals what's underneath the surface. And it's just kind of like this burst of like, oh, I didn't even recognize that there. Or I thought I was keeping that hidden. I didn't think anybody was going to see that. So really big energy happening at the end of the week, and it just feels like there's this crescendo that's like building up to it. So hopefully if you're watching this on Sunday, you have gotten your to-do list and your meal prepping and all of your Virgo preparedness stuff, because bright and early in the morning at 7:11 a.m. the moon is going to start transitioning into Libra, and as you can see, it's a very long transition. So all day Monday we're going to be in void of course energy, meaning the moon is in between Virgo and in between Libra. I feel like a broken record when I talk about this, especially because our Follow the Moon challenge that we do every February had a lot of very long void of course days. And I just really find that there is this lack of energy, this absence of energy. And it kind of feels like if you try to do things, it doesn't work out. It just doesn't stick, or things don't click. I don't know. That's just how I experience void of course energy days. So I don't really put too much pressure on void of course days, because like I don't have like very significant to-dos, because I just find that sometimes there's things don't work out. So it might not be until Tuesday that we start to be productive and start to get things done and things kind of start to fall into place, because especially with Libra, because we're talking about the scales and balancing things and letting things even out and teeter-totter a bit until they kind of settle into place. So I always use a Libra day to kind of wrap up the loose ends, notice anything. It helps me get like a bigger picture and see, what have I been neglecting? What do I need to focus on now? Because Virgo tends to be very focused and isolated on specific details, and Libra helps you kind of take a step back and say like, okay, I'm glad that Virgo took care of those things. I'm glad that we got our to-do list. Now let's kind of delegate and see what we need to keep, what needs to go, how do we make this work, and kind of like shift all the things around. Virgo sets the plan, and Libra kind of starts delegating and moving and seeing what needs to go where and what we need to do first, what's a priority, what's been neglected. And we'll be in Libra energy all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday. A little bit of a longer void, of course, on Thursday from 4:51 a.m. to 3:02 p.m. So it's a 12-hour transition versus the almost 24-hour transition. This is what, like a 22-hour transition. So the beginning of the day, Thursday, we'll have that absence or void of energy. And then at 3:02 p.m., Thursday is when we officially move into the full moon energy. So if you happen to get a chance to look up at the sky Thursday evening, you might want to like do your full moon rituals on Thursday evening. However, the moon will be officially full at 1:22 p.m. on Friday. So that's when we're really going to be feeling it. But if you wanted to work with this full moon, I would do it either Thursday night or Friday night, because the moon will start to transition on Saturday. But this is again a 22-hour transition from 4:47 a.m. Saturday and to 2:34 a.m. Sunday. So we'll be in Sagittarius all day Sunday, but Saturday will be kind of, well, we're going to be in the void. So I talked about the full moon in Scorpio feeling like this bubble bursting. It's like, I don't know. That's just how I'm picturing this Scorpio full moon. Also happening on Friday, Mercury is conjunct Chiron. So Mercury is the planet of communication. Chiron is our wounded healer. It's our past traumas that we're constantly trying to heal throughout our life. This is all happening in Aries. So I talked a lot about Mercury moving into Aries last week or the week before when it did transition into Aries, of being kind of like not having a filter, like just feeling like you need to explode with this like word vomit information, not being able to hold yourself back. So when Mercury is in Aries, we need to kind of like think before we speak, take a few deep breaths, especially with this volatile Aries energy. Aries tends to be very reactive and jump the gun and say things that you shouldn't say, especially when talking about Mercury. And Chiron, being the wounded healer, what's coming to mind for me is that like we might need to put to words what our wounds are, even if that is just simply saying them out loud to yourself or writing them down in a journal, doing some shadow work. This is like this full moon in Scorpio, Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries is it's time to do the shadow work. It's time to look in the mirror, look at your shadow in the face and give it a hug, because it is a part of you. We cannot move through this world authentically if we are constantly shaming ourselves, belittling ourselves, feeling guilty about things, because we are all of the different versions of ourselves. It's not just the part that we present to the world, it is also the part that we kind of keep secret and keep close to our heart or close to ourselves. And this full moon feels like a very good day to do some shadow work, some embracing your dark side, and also being on the lookout for like other people maybe exploding and letting their dark side out, and maybe being reactive or maybe being egotistical or not really thinking or considering about others, because I mean, we are all struggling here. Every single person is struggling. And my whole point in having this community is so that people can feel comfortable and safe talking about weird things, talking about the woo-woo things, talking about how the moon makes you feel and how you feel affected by astrology, because there aren't that many places where we can be authentic and say like, whoa, that full moon made me feel weird. Like, I don't know why. Like, we all know that the moon affects us. So the whole point of this community is so that you can feel safe. I don't know, this feels like a good time to talk about it. It is not okay to put down anybody else in this community. It's really not okay to do it anonymously. I don't want anybody to feel like they need to hide here. Like, that's the whole point of the community. But it is very much not okay to put somebody else down or to think negatively about somebody. And it's really not okay to anonymously message people and say negative things to them. I want this community to be a place where everybody can feel safe. And there have been some instances recently. The first time I overlooked it, it happened maybe a year ago, but it's happened again recently. And whether you think those negative things about that person, that is something that you need to do your shadow work on, because I'm not here to put anybody else down. I'm not here. I want to lift everybody up. There are so many other things in the world that are going to put us down, that are trying to suppress us. Our whole entire society is built on suppression and keeping people down. That is not why we are here. This is not why I created this space. If you are not here to lift everybody else up, then I don't want you here, and you need to get your anonymous self out of here, because if you feel like you need to hide to say something, you're not welcome here. It's not okay to be sending negative messages to other members of the community. That is not why I created this space. That is not why I'm here. And because you're doing it anonymously, I can't do anything about it, because I have no way to figure out who it is or why they're doing it. But it's not okay. I mean, it makes me not feel safe in my own community that I created purposefully so that people can feel safe. And I'm not really sure what to do about that. I don't know why this feels like the appropriate time to talk about it. But anyways, with that said, we have to look at ourselves and why did that trigger me? Why did that make me uncomfortable? Why did that make me uncomfortable enough to reach out to somebody and say something negative to their face? Like, what did that person didn't do anything to you. I know that for a fact. And you have to look at yourself. We all have to look at ourselves and see, why did that upset me? Why did that make me mad? And go down that rabbit hole and explore it. This is a space where you can explore those things, but not if you are projecting and negatively combating at somebody else. Whatever you are feeling inside is your responsibility, and you're the only person that can be in control of that. If you're feeling negative feelings, it's nobody else's fault. It's your fault. And that's the whole purpose of following the moon. We have all of these different influences coming at us all the time. You are in control of how you feel and how you react to things. I'm simply trying to create a space where I can say, hey, the moon is in Scorpio. We've got a full moon in Scorpio with Mercury conjunct Chiron and Aries. Things are going to get heated. Things are going to get complicated. Things are going to get difficult. You're going to have to face people's sharp edges, and you're going to have to face people's projections. But that's like the outside world. The Wonderland is supposed to be a place where you can feel safe and escape all of that, not where you have to be worried that something's going to get projected at you. To whoever, if Anonymous is out there listening, you might need to do some shadow work on Friday. And if you are hearing this, you're not allowed in this community anymore. Unless you can own up to what you did anonymously, unless you can say, hey, I'm sorry, I was having a bad day or something like that, you're not welcome here. I want a community where everybody lifts each other up. That's the whole point of this. So with all of that volatile energy happening on Friday, Mercury, who has just conjunct Chiron and Aries, is moving into Taurus. So like I said at the beginning of the stream, or like I said at the beginning of this video, the sun being in Taurus is like the background of all of this energy, which Taurus to me is always a soft place to land. It's comforting and it's cozy, and it's like the best, comfiest, cozy couch. It's strong and stable. It will catch you when you're falling. So Mercury moving into Taurus, maybe you said something that you shouldn't have said. Maybe you reacted too harshly. Maybe you said something you shouldn't have. Mercury in Taurus helps you calm down, come back down to the ground, and it helps you find clarity. It helps all of that other crazy, fiery energy that's like going out of control. It brings you back down to the ground, and you recognize, like, it's kind of interesting, like when, I don't know if anybody has ever had to take firefighting classes or fire extinguisher classes, but you always aim at the base of a fire, like to put it out. It's like you have to get down to that root to put out that fire. So it's like coming back down to the ground to cool things off. And so maybe on Saturday, you might be able to find clarity with your words and say like, oh, hey, I was hurting here. Sorry I reacted so harshly, and finding another way to say what you wanted to say without it being sharp or hurtful or negative. Say like, hey, this hurt me. I'm having a rough time. Let's talk about it. Can we revisit this thing? And it's kind of looking like as the planets slowly move into Taurus, like I said, first it was the sun. Venus already went through Taurus, so like we already had our nice lovey-dovey, comfy, cozy Venus Taurus. The sun moved into Taurus on April 19th, and now that Mercury's moving into Taurus, Mars will be following soon. It really is this like this big sprint with spring and Aries and go, 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 go. And then Taurus is like the couch that you crash on afterwards, that you're like, oh, I need a nap. I need a nap to recover and replenish my energy. So Taurus just is this safe earth sign, divine masculine sign that catches you. I apologize for unboxing this Phoenix Oracle of the Phoenix deck before I could do it live on stream, but I absolutely felt like we needed this Phoenix energy for the cards for this week. And if you haven't been to our live streams on Twitch, I stream every Tuesday evening, and we had purchased some Oracle decks with a gift card, and this is one of the ones. It's the Oracle of the Phoenix by Christina Arana Fader, illustrated by Alana Dudina. And we needed a fire deck for all of this fire energy, and I needed it for this week, and I didn't have time to stream it before. So I haven't even flipped through it. I just shuffled it a bunch of times, and this is the card that came up for us, and it is Insight. There is a lingering power in recognizing why you are here on this earth. You will feel a great relief and joy the moment you understand why you have incarnated now. I don't know about you guys, but I have had many moments this year, and honestly the last few years, thinking like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live in this world anymore. Why did I come here? So this seems like a very appropriate card. This small phoenix reduces to ashes the inner veils that blind you to your destiny. It destroys everything that prevents you from seeing the purpose of this incarnation clearly. Recognize the reasons that you are here are simpler than you might think. Firstly, you are here to create balance between yourself and other incarnated souls in order to restore karma. Secondly, you are here to do your duty as a light-filled, loving person, to help others along their soul paths and to embody divine love. Thirdly, you are here to heal the hurt from past lives and therefore to discover new strengths and abilities, and to live in the energy that comes from other incarnations. Lastly, you have been here on earth to laugh, to see, to feel, to taste, to smell, hear, and love unconditionally. You are not here to find enlightenment, as your soul is already enlightened. Embrace this life with all it has to offer. Take a deep dive into it and enjoy it. And then there's a little exercise with each card. It says over the next 5 weeks to devote yourself to the 5 senses of taste, hearing, smell, touch, and sight. So that's a very common exercise of helping yourself get grounded and centered when you're feeling overwhelmed, and trust me, with all of this Aries energy, it feels like way too much. And that's what I'm saying about this Taurus energy kind of lingering in the background to help us come back to center, come back to being grounded. And you close your eyes and you try to think of, I can never remember the order that they're supposed to go in. Like, It's like 5 things you can hear, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can, I can never remember the order, touch, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste or something like that. So it just helps you come back to center and realign yourself. But I really wanted to use this deck today because I get really overwhelmed with all this fire energy. And just generally speaking, because I have a lot of fire energy in my chart, I have a lot of Leo and Sagittarius in my chart. When the moon is in Aries, I do not drink caffeine on that day because Aries in it of itself is like drinking a cup of coffee for me. So I know to just like, and I know if I have a cup of coffee on an Aries moon day, that I'm just going to be going around all over the place. And all of this Aries energy is very overstimulating to me. It's too much. It's too much. So I like that this is very much, the image on the card feels very safe and protected. And that's what I need. I need to come back to your basic needs when you're feeling overstimulated and you're feeling overwhelmed. I wanted to bring in the Phoenix, and it was recommended by a community member. So thank you, Luce, for recommending we get a Phoenix deck, because it's important to remember that fire can transform. We think of fire as like igniting and going and ignition, and we think of burning things down, but it's also very transformative. Like fire can transform something into something else. So it's important to work with that transformational energy while we have all of this fire energy available to us. So our chakra card for this week is Integrated Wisdom. Learn to hear the voice of your highest self, which speaks mostly in whispers when you are alone and quiet. What is the wisdom of your most aware and awakened self? You have lived many lives and are integrating the wisdom of these lifetimes today. Focus your attention and intention on activating the deeper awareness and wisdom of all you know. Know that you have the ability to integrate the fullness of all your past life expressions in this moment. This is kind of crazy that both the Phoenix card and this card are talking about transmuting things from past lives and transmuting that karma. And last but not least, we have Aquamarine, which sounds so cooling and so nice for all of this volatile fire energy. Aquamarine activates the throat chakra and helps you integrate all aspects of yourself to become a more whole, empowered being. It's a crystal of the sea with a calming vibration that enhances intuition, imagination, and creativity. Ancients believed it was the mermaid's treasure and brought protection, good luck, and happiness. Aquamarine is emotionally balancing and healing. The affirmation is, I am whole, empowered, and healed. When I first looked at that, I thought it said, I am whale. I am a whale, I am empowered, and I am healed. So I just feel like this aquamarine crystal that wants to work with us this week can bring like just that calming and soothing. And again, I can't stop staring at like the imagery of this card, that it feels very comforting to me. It feels like she was frightened and now she feels safe and secure. I just got myself some more emotional support stuffies while I was on a little road trip recently, and sometimes you just need something to hold, something to make you feel safe, something to make you feel comforted. And that is the lingering energy of the Taurus energy in the background of remembering you do, like telling yourself, like putting your hands on your body and telling yourself that I am safe, I am protected, I can relax, I can calm down, I can heal, I can transmute this. Like telling yourself positive affirmations that encourage you to keep going, because I don't know, it just feels like we're walking through this fire and we got to get to the end of it eventually. Otherwise, we're just going to burn ourselves up. And I don't know, maybe that's meant to be too. I don't know. But so remember, we have this like big crescendo. Generally speaking, when we have waxing gibbous energy, this is a really good productive time. I think that Tuesday and Wednesday with the Libra energy is probably going to be the most productive for us. I personally know that Scorpio energy makes me feel emotional and might be a little bit difficult. So I don't know. Hopefully, maybe I can take the day off Friday and do some journaling and do some shadow work, because I'm not just accusing anonymous people of needing to do shadow work. We all need to do shadow work. I need to do shadow work. I have shadows that I need to embrace, that I need to love, that I need to accept, that I need to heal from. There is nothing that I say ever on this channel, or generally speaking, that is not also a message for myself, advice for myself, something that I am also working on. So I know that maybe I've got a little heated in talking about that, because it's not okay to attack somebody in this community, period. It's not tolerated. If I knew who it was, I would speak to you personally, but because you chose to do it anonymously, I can't do anything other than this. So other than say it to everybody. And now you're being called out and everybody's probably going to be like, who was it? I don't know. But again, with that being said, I'm not a saint. I'm not an angel. I am a human with all of my flaws, and I try to be as transparent as possible on this platform, which is the opposite of what a creator trying to get monetized on different platforms should be doing. But I don't think that it's right to pretend to be like, oh, everything's happy and perfect all the time. Look how great my life is. Don't you want to be like me? My life is a total shit show, and my energy is all over the place. And I'm simply sharing the things that help me come back into alignment, that help me, like this card says, to come back to center. I'm simply sharing the things that help me, because I am also struggling, and I am also healing, and I also have shadows. And I don't know, we are all human, navigating this difficult time as best we can. I think it's best to do that in a kind and compassionate manner, and to not be attacking other community members. That's all I have to say about that. I love you, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you for supporting me and this channel. I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. Um, 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 uh, uh, um, 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 uh, um,
And who is this lovely creature?
My new favorite.
Does she have a name? I believe your name has slipped the Queen's mind.
Her name is, idiot! From Umbridge.